What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. We haven't done a story time in 3 weeks and so much has happened since then. There's all the Kim Soo-hyun drama. I got sick. We went to Tokyo. If you guys want access to more story times, I would like to invite you to check out my Patreon because that is where I put the story times that I cannot put on YouTube. I have a nice little couples vlog section so you can see me and my boyfriend out and about enjoying life. On Patreon, we get story times that are too spicy for YouTube, that will get me demonetized, that also complete some of the stories we've heard here. Like they'll write in what happened to them, and on Patreon it'll be like the version that had to be omitted from the YouTube version. I've been on Patreon for almost a year now. I think my birthday last year was when I launched, and my birthday's coming up again in 10 days. So yeah, it's been almost a year since I started my Patreon and it's crazy. Thank you guys so much for all the support you give me on Patreon so far. My stepdad is the one who told me, Isis, you have 100,000 subscribers, you should check out Patreon. And I was like, I'm not cut out for that. I can't imagine people would be interested in that, and you guys have defied my expectations. I am so grateful for the support that you give me, not only on YouTube, but also on Patreon. I can't believe it's been almost a year of more stability, a year of finally having somewhere to put these stories that I gotta tiptoe around on YouTube, that I can just blurt. I can just put it on there on Patreon as raw as it came to me. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Now, into this video. I'm sorry, I don't want to waste any more of your time. What happens when you are in a relationship with the perfect guy? You have no complaints, you guys get along really well, everything is just going in the right direction, but his parents refuse to accept you. You have to keep it a secret for a while, and then they find out what happens next. Today's star asked to be called Nelly. So Nelly originally went to Korea, but decided to stay way longer than she thought she was gonna stay. That's relatable. The reason she decided to stay is because she's been with her boyfriend now for 2 years. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up. How did she get to Korea in the first place? Nelly was 26 years old, went into a traditional corporate job right after uni, and was there for 4 years until she was suddenly and abruptly laid off. She put so much of her effort, her time, her energy into her work. She didn't have much time for dating, for traveling, or enjoying her financial stability. So when that suddenly went away after 4 years, she's like, shit, what do I do now? And it got to the point where she felt like her youth was slipping away and she knew she needed to make a drastic change. So she decided that she wanted to look into moving to a brand new country to start over. So she did her research and she found the easiest way to do this was to teach English abroad. She considered countries like Spain, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, but not Korea. Korea was not on her radar. She was not looking into Korea whatsoever, which makes this all way more ironic. As she was looking up teaching videos and what it's like to be an English teacher abroad, she found a lot of them from the perspective of English teachers in South Korea. And that's how she found my channel. Hey girl, hey. So the more she learned about this, the more she was interested. Okay, maybe South Korea is an option. For one, in Korea, they give you an apartment. There are 4 equal seasons. I won't say equal, but there are 4 seasons because summer and winter are getting longer and more extreme. It's safe, it's affordable, and the pay is really good. And she said, dude, I'm literally being paid to travel, sign me up. So Korea it is, let's go. And honestly, her expectations were pretty low because she really didn't know what to expect. And she didn't even have time to learn Korean because her recruiter told her not to worry about it, not to bother. You need to speak English to the students anyway. And the ball got rolling really quickly. Like the recruiter needed her ASAP. She had like 3 weeks to prepare everything to suddenly move countries. So once she got to Korea, naturally she was quite busy settling, new job, new apartment, furniture, and all that stuff. And unfortunately, it took her a while to make friends naturally and to meet people in a natural way. Even at her Hagwon, she didn't really have time to hang out with the coworkers just yet. So understandably, she felt really homesick really fast. She was about 3 months into her new life as an English teacher in Seoul, and she kind of hated it. And that's when she would go online further and watch other people complain and vent about their frustrations teaching in Korea, the loneliness. But she also found on the other side of the coin, there's a lot of content out there with foreigners and committed relationships with Koreans and how it's so fulfilling, it makes them so happy, they have a new family and a new life. And she was like, you know what, maybe I should try dating over here. She also wanted me to note that she had never dated any Asian guy, never had any interest in any Asian guy, and that's why she didn't really think about that even 3 months into her time in Korea. So on a whim, she asked her coworkers what would be the best way to meet someone romantically in South Korea. And their immediate response was, "Dumb." And this is actually how they got started talking and becoming friends. They had stories kind of warning her and trauma bonding. And they said, please, for the love of God, do not go on Tinder. She swears she won't. She promises she's not gonna do such a thing. She's not that desperate. So she makes a Tinder profile.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, bro.
And luckily for her, it didn't take long before she met a really great guy. But naturally, she was a little scared to tell her coworkers, yeah, so I did the thing y'all told me not to do. So there was another reason why she didn't feel so close to them just yet. So this guy, let's call him Shiyun. Shiyun was fresh from his military service, and he hopped on Tinder immediately looking to meet some ladies.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
And after being stuck in such a structural, routine, lack of freedom position, such as serving military, he could not wait to travel, to get outside of Korea, to meet new people, to explore different ideas. He just wanted to break out of the routine he had just been in. And that's when he matched Nelly. And the first thing he said to her was, wow, are you real?
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Aw, her beauty left him in denial. So he says he's never seen such a beauty and he appreciates beautiful girls and beauty from different nations. So he asked her where she was from and why the hell did she decide to move to Korea of all places, because he wants to leave. So she said the grass is always greener. Ah, nami doki do ko boinda. She's like, oh my god, what does that mean? But he's like, oh, you know, this is kind of like a Korean idiom. It's our version of the grass is always greener. Basically it means someone else's rice cake is always bigger. So then she's like, do you think you could teach me some Korean? Like, I came here in such a rush, like such spontaneity. I did not have time to learn Korean, never thought about Korea before. And one of the reasons she was considering Spain is because she knew a bit of Spanish from school, so it would probably be easier to adjust, but she knows no Korean, cannot read, cannot write, cannot say, nothing. And she said while it's true that she hasn't really needed to learn Korean so far, it would just make her life more simpler, a little bit easier if she learned some Korean. So he's like, yeah, of course, I'd love to teach you. And he says this will be fun. So they start talking about all the things they have in common and their love for travel. And she explains how she was just in a corporate job for 4 years, didn't have time to travel. Now she wants to try to find that time. He's like, I was just in military service, and before that I was at school. I didn't have time to travel either. So they talked about dream trips to Sydney, Bali, Barcelona, Greece, Seychelles, like all these places they say, oh, we're gonna go. Like they were kind of speaking into existence. And they had a lot of fun getting lost in this fantasy. So their conversation so far was a hit on Tinder, but then she was like, I wonder if this guy actually looks like how he looks, because in her days, however long she was swiping on Tinder, she's seen so many profiles that were heavily filtered in Photoshop, that were clearly not the person they were pretending to be, like it was celebrity. So she asked if they could do like a quick video call on Instagram just to verify each other's identities. So they hop on the call, and now she goes from just seeing his response via text to hearing him speak, and she's like, his accent is so cute. Like he speaks English pretty well, but she really liked his accent. So what was supposed to be a quick little, I'm real, yay, okay, we'll talk again soon, turned into like an hour of conversation because she liked to hear him speak. And they were just looking at each other like, wow, like you're so pretty, you're so handsome. So after that, they decided not only to follow each other on Instagram, but to exchange contact information so they could definitely keep in touch. The next day, she messaged him good morning and got no response.
I'm going ghost!
She thought, damn, these ghosting warnings were true. They really do just ghost you after seeing me so genuine and so sweet. But the next day he messaged her and apologized and said something came up with his family. His parents were being needy, but he didn't want to elaborate much further. We will get back to this. Oh, we will get back to this soon. She's like, it's all good. I understand, you know, family can be tough. So then he just suddenly asked her on a date. She's like, oh, whoa, that's sudden. Y'all really do move fast in Korea. You don't want to like talk a bit more first? He's like, well, why waste each other's time? I like you, you like me. Let's just see what happens when we meet. I think we're looking for the same thing. So cautiously, she asked him, what is it exactly that you think I'm looking for if you think we're looking for the same thing? And then he starts this joke like, I mean, well, we're both on Tinder. We know what Tinder's used for. And she's like, oh, fuck. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. So then he says, I think we both want an adventurous relationship with someone genuine. She's like, damn, okay, that sounds about it. Spot on, bang on the money. So Nelly and Shiyun have their first date. They went to Dongdaemun for lunch. At first, she's like, should we do lunch or coffee? He's like, let's do both. And Nelly's not shy about the fact that she is very shy. Like she's not hiding it. She's letting them know like, listen, I haven't been on a date in like 5 years. I am very new to this. I don't remember, like just so you know, if I'm weird, that's the reason why. He's like, okay, no pressure because same, you know, like military keeps you pretty busy. And he says how military service is usually a really lonely time for men in South Korea. And he's explaining how you have to do it before a certain age because she didn't know anything about this. So she felt comforted in the fact that they were both going on this date a little rusty. So yeah, they meet in Dongdaemun, and she was very surprised how attractive he was in person as well. You know, all throughout the email, she keeps emphasizing, like, I never really liked Asian men, I never thought about it, but him, he was so attractive, he was so my type. See, you guys gotta explore, you never know what's out there, you know what I'm saying? She was like, oh my god, you're taller than I thought you'd be, and he's like, so were you. I imagine you as being like a tiny petite girl, but wow, you're almost as tall as I am. So it was cute because once they got to lunch and finished lunch, they kind of had this little mini like push and pull over who was gonna get the check because they didn't want to just split it. They're like, well, I asked you, so I should do it. And it's like, no, but I agreed, and you know, I said that we should do lunch and coffee. Coffee would have been cheaper. So he says, I'll pay for this, you can pay for the coffee at the next spot, and that's what they ended up doing. Over coffee, that's when he decided to start his first Korean lesson, giving Nelly some tips and pointers, you know, basic greetings, yes, no, thank you, hi, bye.
Can you speak Korean?
No.
You don't know 안녕하세요? No.
Obviously, this date went really well. They found themselves unable to stay away from each other over the next month. Like, they just kept talking on the phone, kept trying to meet up for walks and coffee and dinner and lunch, and they hit it off, which is so cute. So months and months go by, they're officially boyfriend and girlfriend, and as they're dating, as they're having deeper conversations, getting to know each other, naturally family tends to come up, right? They've met each other's friends, and Nelly has grown closer with her co-teachers at the Hagwon, like they're friends now. And she's like, you know how y'all told me like not to do Tinder? I'm sorry I did Tinder, but I got a good guy, meet Shiyun. And she even got to meet his friends. Nelly, you know, she's like, hey, I met your friends and they're great. You've met my friends and they're great. You can't quite meet my family because they're not here, but what about yours? Like, you don't talk about them much. He talks about his sister all the time. He has an older sister, but he never talks about his parents. And she was scared to bring it up because she's like, are they active? Like, is your relationship with them good? Did they die? She even explains how his family is very traditional, how his older sister is engaged to a Korean office worker. They're very traditional. They welcomed him to a degree. We'll get to that a bit later too. But he says that based on the kind of person his older sister is with, he knows that they expect him to be with someone more traditional as well. Basically saying to Nelly that it is best for now that y'all just don't meet. And maybe it's best if they don't know about this relationship yet either. And Nelly was okay with that. She's like, you know what? I'm not gonna rush meeting the racist parents. That's fine by me. But she did tell her family she met a guy and she's been dating him for a few months now. So her family knew about him, but his family didn't really know about her yet. And she was okay with that. I wonder how you guys feel about that, because I know how I feel about that. For me, I couldn't be with someone who is like apprehensive to tell his parents and his family about me because they won't accept me for things beyond my control. If I'm rude, if I'm obnoxious, if I'm mean, if I'm hateful, if I'm a bitch, if I'm toxic and abusive, totally get why your family would hate me. But to hate me because of this will never not be dumb to me. Sorry, I'm back. So let me know in the comments how you guys will feel about that. Nelly's cool with it because she really likes her man and she's like, I don't care, his family's not gonna get in the way. Me, I don't think I could get too close to someone if I know their family's just gonna hate me. That's just gonna make our relationship so much more difficult. But let me know how y'all feel. So in the meantime, Shiyun and Nelly are in a proper relationship. Like, they're taking trips together, camping, sleepovers, movie nights out, date nights in, hanging out with each other's friends, having the occasional argument, and before you know it, 2 years has gone by.
I don't care who says what, it's my personal preference.
Nelly originally was only supposed to be in Korea for 1 year, but she decided because of her relationship with Shiyun, she keeps extending. She's planning to stay for however long they plan to be there together, and they are together. She says she wasn't really in the greatest rush to run back to Canada just yet. Oh yeah, she's Canadian, sorry. But they were planning to move together away from Korea eventually, not to Canada. They both had this idea of moving to Europe together. So it's been 2 years, and Shiyun, deciding that their relationship is to the point where he wants to propose, says, okay, I think it is time that my family meets you. Keep in mind, Nelly does not know his intent to propose, but thinking, okay, yeah, it's been 2 years, I should meet his family. And she was against it at first, but she did come around. She was kind of hoping that the meeting would happen after they had already moved to Europe via like a Zoom call. She was very hesitant about meeting them in person. One thing Nelly did not know is the relationship was revealed to his parents via his sister. Like I said earlier, Shiyun and his sister are very close. They talk often, they talk all the time. Now Nelly and the sister, let's just call her Nuna, because she's his older sister. So the sister's gonna be Nuna. So Nuna and Nelly have not met, but they, you know, in the background, hi, hello, hi, sort of thing. She knew that they were dating, and unfortunately, she informed the parents that he had a foreigner girlfriend. Shiyun wanted to be the one to tell them this, so he was a little upset, understandably. So basically, Shiyun had mentioned to his sister, Nuna, that he wanted to arrange a dinner for them all to meet. This is when Nuna said, oh, they don't really want to meet Nelly because they know she's a foreigner. He's like, how do they know she's a foreigner? And she said, oh, I told them, I didn't know it was a secret. Nuna, you, girl. So when Nelly found out that his parents did not want to meet her simply because she is a foreigner, she was like, cool. I ain't gonna force it. I don't need to meet them, it's fine. But Shiyun, you know, naturally you love your parents, and it would mean a lot to him if they could get their blessing before he moves to Europe with her and before he proposes to her. So he really wants this meeting to happen. So because the sister felt guilty about letting it slip to his parents that her brother was dating a foreigner, we can all meet first. You meet and your girlfriend will meet first, and then we can gauge how best to approach bringing mom and dad into this. She wanted to be like the middleman, the mediator, because she feels like she really fucked up. His sister is so down, by the way. She's incredibly nice by the sound of everything. She's been very curious about who her little brother has been dating for the past few years, so she is very excited to meet Nelly. And Nelly's excited too because she has heard so much about his sister over the past 2 years. The three of them decided to meet for lunch at the very first restaurant where Shiyun and Nelly had their first date in Dongdaemun. By the way, his sister does not speak really good English, like at all, so Shiyun was gonna have to be like the translator. And at this point, Nelly's Korean is kind of just you know, it's still pretty basic, but she is trying. So when his sister gets there, she's like, oh my god, like, wow, Nelly, so pretty, so beautiful, so beautiful. Like, she's a bundle of sunshine, very happy to finally meet this girl who's had her little brother's heart for the past 2 years. She was kind of teasing him like, wow, my brother's so cool, he's dating a foreigner. Did he blackmail you? How did my brother get you? Like, there's no way you would choose to date my brother. And it was kind of cute to see siblings tease each other. Everyone is smiling, the mood is great, but unfortunately they do have to address the elephant in the room, and that is mom and dad. So then Nelly's like, well, Nuna, what's your advice? Like, what do you think we should do? So that's when Nuna's like, TBH, no one is ever gonna be good enough because we're their children. Even my fiance, they don't like him. They said that he's boring, he's too meh. I should get someone more ambitious. Even though he ticks all the boxes, has a stable job, he's traditional, he's a Korean guy, like he ticks the main boxes his parents have, but he's still not good enough because he's meh. So she's like, Nelly, you should relax because even if you tick every box that they're looking for, they're gonna find something new they don't like about you. So Shiyun's like, okay, that being said, do you think you can convince them to meet with her? And she honestly has no doubt that she can. She's like, well, now that I've met her, they're gonna be very curious because she's met someone in the family, so it is a bit more serious than they wanna believe it is. And she's like, as soon as they find out that we met, they're absolutely gonna wanna meet you, so be prepared because that call's coming. So that's the plan. Nuna is gonna casually drop to the parents, oh, so I was just out with Shiyun and I met his girlfriend Nelly and we had lunch, and then the parents gonna be like, oh, you met? What? Tell us about her. And then they're gonna wanna meet her for themselves. So in the meantime, until they wait for that call, they're just gonna go about their lives as usual and wait to see what happens next. So a few weeks goes by and Nuna calls Shiyun with the news that, okay, we're gonna have dinner at my apartment next Sunday. Shiyun is excited because they're like, oh my god, my parents are agreeing to meet with my foreigner girlfriend, like this is great. Nelly, understandably, is very nervous. She has a bad feeling in her gut, and her gut is correct. Nelly's like, okay, so, but what was their tone like? Were they eager? Were they disgusted? Were they curious? What, like, come on, you gotta give me something. And they don't even answer. They're like, just don't overthink it, just relax. They're gonna like you. So fast forward to the following Sunday, and they're all meeting at Nuna's place for dinner. So she invited Nuna and Shiyun over first because she's never been to her apartment before, so she wanted them to be relaxed, maybe have a drink or two before the parents arrive, but that plan backfired because the parents showed up early as fuck. Now everybody's here before they're supposed to be, meaning this is gonna be a longer and now more awkward dinner. So once Nelly heard that doorbell, she instinctively ran to the bathroom because she's like, I gotta fix my hair, gotta make sure my makeup isn't smudged, I gotta make sure my shirt looks fine. Like, she was overthinking everything, as you do, right? You know? So after a while, Nelly comes out to greet everyone and they're already just staring at her, sitting at the table, just. So Nelly walks over to his mom and his dad, introduces herself in Korean, and they don't get up to greet her. They just kind of sit and stare and half-heartedly offer their hand like, Charmed, I'm sure. Yes, you're the daughter-in-law, yes. And the fact that they just kept staring, Shiyun and Nuna were like, Mom, Dad, y'all wanted to meet her, engaged. Y'all just wanted to meet her just to stare at her? You can do that through a picture. So Nelly's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And she awkwardly joins them at the table. So Nuna tries to make conversation to get everyone involved. So then the dad finally speaks up and says in very broken English that you're cute for a foreign girl. And Nelly, knowing this is not an actual genuine compliment, just gives a nervous laugh like, thank you, 감사합니다. Nelly ain't dumb. She knows that is not a compliment, but she's trying her best to be amicable. By the way, a lot of this conversation happens in Korean, and then it's Shiyun who tells Nelly later what went down. So Shiyun is the only other person in the room who picked up that that was not a genuine compliment because, again, Nuna doesn't speak English that well. So when they hear cute and foreigner in a sentence, Nuna's like, oh, they think she's cute. So she's like, oh, great. But Shiyun knows that's an insult. And he's like, Dad, what are you doing? So, by the way, I don't care what anyone says. If anyone tries to give you a compliment and they say, you're this for insert demographic here, that's not a compliment because you're saying despite your people being known for this bad trait, you're not that. You're different from them. You're a good one. Often throughout my life, I've heard you're pretty for a black girl. And it's like, oh, so you're saying black girls are ugly? And I'm supposed to feel complimented like, oh, I'm above that. Thank you so much. No, that is never a compliment. You're smart for a woman. Oh, so women are dumb? When you base your expectation off of a negative stereotype, you bring that whole group of people down while you do that. Sorry. So anyway, yeah, Nelly knew that wasn't a compliment. And thank God Shiyun also picked that up. So then they start to ask her more questions about racist stereotypes. For example, how long have your parents been divorced? Nah, her parents are actually still together. Have you had many partners? Don't sleep around too much, haha, or you can't be a proper wife. And mind you, they're saying all this in very broken English. And it was clear that they were dismissing the seriousness of their relationship. Like they just thought Shiyun's gonna have his fun, then he'll find a proper wife eventually. Then they ask her if she tans her skin. She's like, nope. Melanin comes from my father's side. And it's the fact that the parents are going out of their way to speak in very broken English to tell her how they feel about her. They could easily tell their son something and have the son translate it, but I think we all know that the son would wipe up the interpretation before he gives it to Nelly, you know what I mean? So it's like they want her to hear this hate directly from them. No matter how hard it is for them to do so, communicating in English, they want to make sure you know how much we don't like you based on this negative stereotype and assumption we have about you and your people. So the mom tells her, oh, while you're in Korea, you should use proper skincare. It'll help whiten your skin and your skin will look much prettier than it does now.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
And it'll also look healthy. So Shiyun sees where this is going. It was an epic fail. And he tells his parents, this is like the last chance you'll get to know her because we're about to leave Korea. He decides to just drop the bomb. We're leaving and we're in love and this is how y'all want to spend this time? Instead of asking about her hobbies, her birthday, why she's in Korea, how she likes her time in Korea, what she loves about your son. Instead, you're asking her these racist and rude questions. And then he's like, I've been with her for 2 years and we knew this moment would happen eventually, but I really had hoped that you guys would be better than my expectations. She didn't want to meet you because she knew you guys wouldn't support us. I gave y'all the benefit of the doubt. I thought as long as their son is truly happy and healthy, they would support us. Thanks for proving me wrong. And unfortunately, the parents did not back down. They didn't concede even a little bit. After hearing their son's plea, they just fell quiet. They just didn't have anything else to say. This awkward silence was followed by Nelly trying to speak with the parents in Korean. Mind you, in the real time, they're speaking very fast in Korean, so she doesn't know what they're saying, but she doesn't know it's going as bad as it's going. Yeah, people seem a little upset, but they've seemed upset the moment the parents walked in the door, so she tries to break the tension. Nelly says to the parents, in Korean mind you, she's trying her best. She asks them if they're hungry and if they're ready to eat. And before she can finish it, because she is speaking a little slower, the dad just waves his hand, signaling for her to stop talking.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
At this point, Nelly understandably wants to vacate the premises. She wants to leave very quickly, most expeditiously. It's going just as bad as she feared, and all she can do is laugh to herself, just like, damn. like what else can you do, right?
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
So Nuna notices what's going on and she just asks, should we just cancel this? Y'all can take y'all plates to go. But the parents still for some reason just choose to remain silent. And Nuna is like, wow, I kind of understand why my brother wants to leave this country now. People who are so close-minded, so stuck in their ways. Nuna was saying how her fiance also feels that way. And Nuna says to the parents, like, she was very excited getting to know Nelly, and she thought they would be too because Nelly is a lovely girl. She's like, I was really excited finally meeting this girl who my brother fell in love with for the last 2 years and seeing who makes him so happy. We really just thought you guys would be that way too. Like, we feel really naive. So with all this awkward silence after, because again, even after Nuna said what she said to the parents, they still just stay quiet. Nelly's like, I'ma head out. Y'all can sort out this family drama. I'm sorry to have caused this. I don't know, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Nuna agrees. Nuna's like, yeah, Nelly, I'm so sorry. I think it is best if you go for now. Shiyun wants to leave too. He's like, fine, I'm going too. But Nelly's like, no, y'all need to sort this, because if we really are about to leave and go to Europe together, y'all need to figure this out, because you don't want to leave with such bad blood, you know? Shiyun either wants to leave with Nelly or he wants Nelly to stay, because he knows that he has this plan to propose to Nelly. For him, the stakes are higher than it is for Nelly, because Nelly's like, I don't really have any real reason to see these people again, but that's your parents. That's a y'all issue. Y'all need to sort this. Shit it on down, talk it out. So with that, Shiyun finally agrees, Nelly leaves, and he's like, wait downstairs, I'll be out in like 5 minutes. She's like, no, take however long it needs. I'm gonna go home and get ready for work tomorrow. Like, no rush, seriously. So with Nelly gone, all hell is about to break loose. Parents are done being silent, and they're gonna say exactly what they wanted to say while Nelly was there. Shiyun is like, why did you guys agree to dinner if you weren't even gonna talk to her or bother trying to get to know her? Why insult her? And they said, we were being polite by being quiet. You're lucky we didn't say what we wanted to say. So Shiyun is like, oh, okay, so what did you want to say? By the way, I just want to highlight how bold this is. It is not very common that Korean children will talk, I would say children, like he's an adult, but like will talk back to their parents in a manner such as this. So wow, already. So yeah, the parents say you can't be with a foreigner. It doesn't make sense. Think of the children you'll have. Will they speak Korean or English? Like, there aren't billions of people out there who are bilingual. Maybe not billions, but hundreds of millions of people out there who are bilingual. They're like, what's wrong with a normal Korean girl? You should be with a Korean. And then Shiyun is like, well, that's what y'all said about Nuna's fiance, and y'all still don't like him. They don't even address that claim. They just move on. They're not like, we do like him or we don't. They said, we just wanted to see this girl for ourselves. Now that we have, we're done. Have your fun with her, but don't drag this out too long, because you still have time to find a proper wife. Shiyun is like, she is gonna be my wife. I'm gonna propose to her. But this disastrous meal means I'm gonna have to postpone that, because I can't propose to her on the heels of this shit. So seeing this argument unfold, Nuna starts to cry. You know, they kind of stop and calmly turn to Nuna like, oh, what's wrong? Like, why are you crying? And she says she feels bad for thinking this will go well. She feels bad that she's the one who leaked to the parents that, oh, my brother's dating a foreigner, y'all didn't know? So she feels like this is her fault, and it's not her fault. And she's worried this is gonna cause a rift in the family, because for years, Shiyun has been talking about he doesn't want to die in Korea. Like, he wants to see what else is out there. So he's gonna leave, and then what? Like, you won't be close with your parents anymore. My brother's gone. So she's feeling a lot of emotions right now. And she says she's disappointed in her mom and dad because this should be a happy time. She's like, when's the last time we met any one of Shiyun's girlfriends? Like, I can't remember the last time I met one. So he finally found someone he likes, someone who's good for him, someone who's fine, normal, stable, and makes him happy. Why the hell are we yelling at each other right now? Though their tone is softer now, having seen her cry, their racism ain't. And the parents said they don't make for good mothers, they're not smart, and too argumentative. Mind you, the only person in this whole situation that has not been arguing is Nelly. Imagine that. So Shiyun is like, how can you say that when you literally do not know her? You did not bother to get to know her. And their parents are like, everyone knows this is how they are. So then Nuna's like, oh, word? So who do you know personally that is like this? Like, which foreigner do you know specifically and personally that is like this? What if everyone outside of Korea thought we were like Kim Jong-un, or lumped us with North Koreans, or anyone else you don't like? It's the same way how if you see one video of a black person online committing a crime, somehow, oh, this is what black people do, the usual suspects. But you know, when you see a white person commit a crime, no one says this is how white people are. Like, it's certain, I get it. I totally get what she means by this, but like, yeah, it's not fair. Like, certain demographics don't get the benefit of the doubt. Like, everyone should be given the benefit of the doubt. Like, when a woman is in a rare leadership role and she messes up, this is why women shouldn't be in leadership positions. But if it's a man who fucks up while he's in a leadership position, no one ever says this is how men are. Like, you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm getting off topic. And then Shiyun is like, do you really think I would be with someone so awful if such a person existed? Do you really think that's who I would choose? So with them not budging, after like an hour of this sort of back and forth argument, Nuna's like, you know what? I kind of think everybody should just leave my house. And then with that, oh yeah, it is odd that we're at Nuna's house instead of our parents' house. Our parents' house is way bigger than Nuna's. It's an apartment. Nuna has an apartment. So then she asked something that leads to a disturbing revelation. Why did we meet here instead of at our parents' place? Nuna didn't want to answer. She just kind of, so then the dad said, because we can't have that know where we live.
Hey, yo! Hey, yo!
What you say?
Bro, what? Not a her, not a they, not Nelly, but that? We can't have that know where we live? So they didn't want to have this meeting at their house. They only agreed to have this meeting if it was going to be at Nuna's house because they didn't want Nelly to know where they live. For why? Dad could have kept that one in the drafts. Like, that was so much better just not said ever. So she was like, all right, I'm out, I'm leaving. So basically, that was 6 months ago. Nelly and Shiyun are planning to move to Europe somewhere. They still don't quite know where, but somewhere hopefully where she can teach English and he can work remote from his job. He said that night was kind of the last straw. Like, he knows he does not want to be in Korea anymore. Oh, sorry, I forgot something. As he left, he dropped bars and straight wisdom. This is what he said. Today you could have gained a second daughter. Instead, you lost your only son. This is what he said to his parents. So unfortunately, he hasn't talked to his parents since that night. The only time they've seen each other since that night was at Nuna's wedding. Nuna and her fiance got married. Though everyone was invited, Nelly was invited, she was there. Shiyun was invited, he was there. The parents were both invited, and in the wedding, they were there. They had to work really hard to make sure they didn't clash or cause a scene or anything, because there were some moments where Shiyun and his parents, their eyes met, and they just didn't say anything to each other. They didn't hi, shake hands, hug, nothing. They have not talked since that night at Nuna's apartment. The parents haven't reached out either, and Shiyun's like, you know what, it's not my job to reach out because I'm not the one who fucked up here. So Nuna and her husband, they still keep in very good contact with Shiyun and Nelly. Like, they're a good little quartet. The parents, things have become estranged with them. Can you imagine cutting off your child because of someone they love? I can't, that is the dumbest reason. Again, if they're like a toxic, manipulating abuser, liar, lazy user and abuser, that's something I can totally get. Like, you wouldn't want to enable your kid being with someone that is actively bad for them. But when you want to do that over something that that person can't control, what country they're from, what their appearance is, their race, the gender you were born with. Like, these are just the things that I can't, man. I planned to share this story a few weeks back, right after I shared the one, oh, here's a good story about what happens when I met my boyfriend's family, because I'm gonna share one that's really dark. This was that one that was really dark. It took a while because, again, I was sick. Kim Soo-hyun happened, Tokyo happened. I'm so sorry. So let me know what y'all think about this story. If you want to see more story times like this, binge the playlist. It's about to pop up on the end screen. If you want access to more story times that I cannot put on YouTube, check out my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.